Now celebrated in the days after Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, is a 2-day holiday that reunites the living with those that have passed. And the celebration dates back some 3,000 years. It has evolved into a lot of different celebrations all over the world. We headed to San Antonio to check out the Dia de los Muertos Hemisphere, which is an event that some say is becoming the capital of Day of the Dead celebrations here in the United States.
I think that'll be good, right?
Right there?
Yeah, and then when we're in the actual space, we'll figure out how much louder it needs to be. But it's more of a symbol than anything.
When I think about my mom, I think about like how empathetic she was. It really influenced her work and like her activism. It really shows how much she cared about people, especially marginalized people.
Maria Ibarra was an artist in the San Antonio Chicano theater community, someone that gave voice to the voiceless.
She was also very strong. I mean, she had cancer 3 times, and each time she never showed weakness. She always wanted to be strong, always worried about everybody else except herself.
Last October, at the age of 45, Maria passed away.
What I miss about Maria is I call her comadre, and in the Mexican culture, that's like a co-mother, but it's like another woman who you're sharing your family, your life with. And so it's like really the everyday things.
That pain of missing Maria motivated her friends and family to honor her with an altar at the San Antonio Dia de los Muertos Hemisphere.
Dia de los Muertos, it is a Mexican, and here in San Antonio, Mexican-American cultural event. It felt like that is a place where we can honor our people. I'm doing it because I know she would want it done, and she would have done it for me. This was her tradition, and so that's why we wanted to do this.
A tradition that dates back centuries and has been growing in popularity here in the United States over the last 50 years.
Many people will say that Dia de los Muertos is thousands of years old, and in some sense that's correct. So well before Spain ever came to the Americas and colonized the Americas, indigenous peoples of Mesoamerica, what is today modern-day Central America and Mexico, had rituals for the dead, where they would take time out of their year in order to honor their ancestors by making offerings.
Dr. Matthew Sandoval has been studying, researching, and teaching about how all the elements of this holiday have made their way into popular culture.
The more popular that Dia de los Muertos has gotten in Mexico, it's allowed other people across the globe to understand what this is, see what it is, and try and institute it for themselves. So now Day of the Dead is celebrated in Virginia, it's celebrated in Oregon, it's celebrated in Iowa, places where it had never existed before. Part of it has to do with, I think, people looking for ways to honor the dead, deal with death, deal with loss.
The altar, or ofrendas, are the staple of this holiday, built with objects that honor lost loved ones.
So some of the altars are very immersive. Many of the altars now are like multimedia installations, so there will be video embedded or music embedded into the altar, because the altar is not just a little table anymore, it becomes like an activated ritual space.
Every year, what's happened in the past 12 months, good and bad, is reflected in the altars.
Jim Mendiola is the artistic director of San Antonio's annual celebration.
I expect to see some altars about the Uvalde shootings. I expect to see an altar about the 53 migrants who died, 5 miles from here. But, I'm also going to see families that I've first saw 2 years ago that are coming back and doing new altars. So the stories are always great. That's probably the best thing about it. The stories, I can't ever get tired of hearing those.
The stories that connect the living with the dead.
I hope people feel, when they see her altar, a connection. Because I know everybody has lost someone. I hope they feel her story.
I'm hoping that young brown people will be excited when they see that she was someone who was do-it-yourself, and that they will be empowered to do it themselves in their lives.
I think it's important too that while we're also remembering our people, we also have to root for them in whatever journey that they have going on now, because we don't know what it is. We don't know what kind of challenges might exist for them in this other world that they now existent. So Dia de los Muertos too, I think, is a really great way for us to check in and say, like, hey, we're still really rooting for you.
And what a beautiful way to honor your family and also your community, right? Well, thank you so much for joining us at our Today All Day Inside Halloween special. I'm Gotti Schwartz. And from all of us here at Today All Day, have a happy Halloween.